Whispers from the hanging gardens, Mesopotamian serenity. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let the world slow down. You've just entered a realm where stories drift like soft whispers in the night, guiding you into peaceful dreams. The breeze that sings to the flowers. The sun hung low over Babylon, its golden light melting into the horizon, casting a warm glow over the legendary hanging gardens. The terraces, draped in cascading vines and vibrant blossoms, shimmered under the fading daylight, their colors deepened by the coming dusk. Water trickled from hidden fountains, feeding the lush greenery that stretched toward the heavens, a paradise suspended above the city. Among the terraces, a young gardener knelt beside a bed of blooming lilies, his hands brushing gently against the velvety petals. The day had been long, the work demanding, but he found solace in the quiet rhythm of tending to the plants, each leaf a whisper of life under his care. He exhaled, wiping the sweat from his brow, and sat back against the cool stone wall, allowing the evening air to embrace him. Then, a breeze stirred. It was soft at first, barely more than a whisper as it wove between the hanging vines and rustled the palm fronds. The leaves trembled, the flowers swayed, and soon the garden was alive with movement, a slow, rhythmic dance led by the unseen hands of the wind. The gardener closed his eyes. He had always believed that the wind carried messages from the gods, and tonight it felt as if it were singing. The melody was delicate, drifting through the air like the gentle chime of distant bells. It was not a song of words, but of feeling, notes woven from the sigh of the trees, the ripple of water, the hushed murmur of the earth. The gardener listened, his breath slowing, his body growing lighter, as if the wind itself had lifted his burdens away. His head dipped forward, his thoughts dissolving into the rhythm of the breeze, and before he realized it, he was drifting into sleep. In his dream, the garden stretched endlessly before him, bathed in the glow of a golden moon. The air was thick with the fragrance of jasmine and roses, their petals opening as if they, too, were listening to the wind song. He walked barefoot along a path of soft moss, the cool earth pressing gently against his skin. The trees swayed above him, their branches parting to reveal the endless sky, where the stars shimmered like scattered pearls. The melodies surrounded him, carrying him forward, guiding him deeper into the dreamscape of the garden. There was no urgency, no weight of time, only the endless embrace of nature, the gentle hum of the wind cradling him like a lullaby. Somewhere in the distance, water trickled over smooth stone, its sound merging with the rustling leaves. The breeze wrapped around him, whispering words he did not need to understand. It was a promise of peace, of rest, of harmony that stretched beyond the waking world. And so, under the soft glow of the moon, the gardener walked deeper into the dream, the song of the wind leading him ever onward, carrying him toward a slumber so deep and tranquil that even the gods themselves might envy his peace. The listener, too, is invited to close their eyes, to feel the gentle caress of the wind, to let the melody of the garden carry them into sleep, where the golden moon waits, the flowers bloom, and the whispers of the gods hum softly through the night. The fountain of silver ripples. The hanging gardens of Babylon stood in quiet splendor beneath the moon's gentle gaze. In the heart of this paradise, nestled among walls of emerald ivy and terraces brimming with fragrant blossoms, a fountain flowed ceaselessly. Its water, clear as the sky after rain, cascaded into a marble basin, catching the moonlight and turning it into silver ripples that danced across the surface. Beside the fountain, a poet sat, his robe draped loosely over his shoulders, his bare feet resting on the cool stone. He had come seeking inspiration, but the words eluded him tonight. Instead, he watched the water, mesmerized by the way it shimmered and whispered, as if the fountain itself was telling a story too old to be written, too sacred to be spoken aloud. The night air carried the soft fragrance of lilies and myrrh, the distant hum of the city below fading into silence. The poet leaned closer, listening. He had heard tales that the fountain carried the voices of ancient kings, their words flowing endlessly with the current, waiting for a listener patient enough to hear them. And then, as the silver ripples whitened, the murmurs began. The voice was soft, neither male nor female, not one but many. It rose and fell with the rhythm of the water, a story unfolding in waves. It spoke of kings who had walked these very stones, of their hopes, their fears, their longing for eternity. It spoke of gardens that had bloomed and withered, of rivers that had carried dreams beyond the edge of the world. The poet closed his eyes, his body growing lighter, his breath slowing to match the gentle ebb and flow of the water's song. His mind drifted like a leaf upon the stream, carried beyond the walls of Babylon, beyond time itself. In his dream, he stood upon the bank of a vast river, its surface shimmering like molten silver beneath the stars. The current was slow, steady, eternal. Shadows of great figures moved along its banks, kings wrapped in golden robes, scribes hunched over clay tablets, builders who had raised cities from dust. None of them spoke, yet their stories flowed through the water, weaving themselves into the night air. The poet stepped forward, dipping his fingers into the river. The water was cool, and as it touched his skin, he understood. He understood the endless nature of time, the way moments ripple into eternity, how words, once spoken, never truly fade but become part of something greater. The fountain's song grew softer, drawing him deeper into the dream. The stars above gleamed like forgotten verses waiting to be read, and the silver ripples stretched on, carrying whispers of history, of love, of wisdom meant only for those who listened. As he drifted into sleep, the poet smiled, his heart full with the understanding that stories, like rivers, never truly end. And so, too, the listeners invited to close their eyes, to hear the soft song of water in the night, to let the silver ripples guide them into a peaceful slumber, where ancient voices still whisper beneath the stars. The night-blooming lotus. The hanging gardens lay bathed in silver moonlight, a sanctuary of cascading vines, fragrant blossoms, and whispering waters. The city of Babylon rested below, its golden towers dim beneath the star-strewn sky. But within the garden's hidden depths, something stirred, something that only revealed itself beneath the full moon's watchful gaze. A lone traveler, weary from his long journey, wandered through the terraces. His sandals brushed against the cool stone pathways, his breath filled with the mingling scents of jasmine and myrrh. He had not meant to stay so long, yet the garden held him in its quiet embrace, its beauty like a dream he did not wish to wake from. As he walked, he noticed a glow, soft at first, like the shimmer of a distant star. He followed it deeper into the garden, past trickling fountains and swaying palms, until he stood before a small pool, its surface reflecting the sky like polished glass. And there, rising from the water, was a lotus. Its petals, pale as pearl, began to unfurl, one by one, moving as if in slow, graceful dance. A soft, golden light pulsed from its center, casting gentle waves upon the pool. The air grew thick with its perfume, rich, sweet, ancient. The traveler knelt, his heart quickening. He had heard whispers of this flower, a sacred bloom that only awakened under the full moon. Some said it was a gift from the gods, a bridge between the mortal world and the divine. Others believed it carried the dreams of those who had come before, their longings woven into its petals. As he gazed upon the lotus, a warmth wrapped around him, though no breeze stirred. A presence, gentle, unseen, filled the space. A voice, neither loud nor soft, neither near nor far, whispered to him, though he could not say in what language it spoke. It was the voice of something ancient, something kind. Rest. The word was not spoken but felt. It settled deep within him, easing the weight of his journey, quieting the restless thoughts in his mind. His eyelids grew heavy, his breath slowed. The lotus glowed brighter, its fragrance weaving through his senses like a lullaby. The traveler lay back against the cool stone, the night wrapping around him like silk. He let himself drift, carried by the warmth of the unseen presence, the whispered promises of renewal and peace. The garden blurred into softness, the lotus a gentle beacon in the darkness. And as he surrendered to sleep, the listener, too, is invited to breathe deeply, to feel the quiet embrace of the night, to be carried by the unseen presence of the divine, safe, warm, and at peace. The Guardian Owl's Lullaby. High above the city of Babylon, where the air was cool and the hanging gardens stretched toward the heavens, an owl sat upon the highest terrace. Its feathers, dark as the night itself, shimmered beneath the silver glow of the moon. Its golden eyes, sharp and ancient, reflected the starlit sky, watching over the city below. The owl did not stir, did not blink, as the world beneath it slowed into slumber. The torches along the palace walls flickered lower, the hum of the marketplace had long faded, and only the sound of the Euphrates whispered through the quiet streets. Yet here, in the heart of the garden, life still breathed, soft, slow, and peaceful. Beneath the towering trees, nestled in a bed of lush grass, a child lay curled beneath a woven blanket. The air was thick with the scent of night-blooming flowers, their petals unfurling in the cool darkness. The child's eyes were heavy, but sleep had not yet come. Instead, he watched the owl, feeling its silent presence like a guardian in the night. Then, the owl began to sing. Its call was not the sharp cry of a hunter nor the piercing shriek of the wild. Instead, it was a deep, rhythmic hum, low, steady, ancient. The sound vibrated through the leaves, wrapped around the marble columns, and danced upon the water of the nearby fountains. It was a song without words, a melody only the night could understand. The child listened, his breathing slowing, his body sinking deeper into the embrace of sleep. As the owl's lullaby wove through the air, his dreams began to take shape. He drifted beyond the gardens, beyond the city walls, soaring through soft clouds where the moon shone like polished silver. He wandered through endless gardens, where flowers whispered secrets of the gods, and rivers flowed with golden light. The owl watched, its song never faltering. It had sung to kings and to beggars, to warriors and to dreamers. Tonight, it sang for the child beneath the trees, and for all those who needed the gentle hand of sleep. And as the night deepened, as the stars shimmered and the moon cast its pale glow upon the land, The child's dreams carried him far, wrapped in the stillness of the Mesopotamian night, held safe beneath the watchful eyes of the guardian owl. The listener, too, is carried upon the wings of the song, cradled by the night, drifting softly into the realm of dreams.